Hi there, hope you're keeping well. It's Tim G5TM back for another video. Now, I've been very quiet over November, radio-wise, because I have so much work on at the moment. But what I did do at the end of October was take part in the CQWW SSB contest and had a great deal of fun, I have to tell you, taking part in that contest. Now, initially, my initial plan was to use maybe a Henved half wave or a multi-band vertical portable. But in the end, I decided to use what has become a tried and tested combination for me, which was the little Tarheel 2 screwdriver antenna, which I've had on loan, given to me on loan by Tom, M0RMY. Very kind of Tom to do that, and it's coming back to you soon, Tom, I promise. But thank you for that again. And I'm still enjoying using it, although I'd like to get out a bit more and use it more often, but there we are, that's how it is. Now let me show you what I did on the for the contest then, how long I operated for and what fun I had. So let me just show you. Okay, so what we've got here then is a picture of the little Tarheel 2, and we used 100 watts and 7300. Now I used the 7300 because basically that would give me more chance to look at the scope and stuff like this, and really, to be able to see what was going on in the bands, basically, which is pretty important because I operated on a sort of search and pounce basis, which is basically not calling CQ but trying to work other stations. So that was the antenna that I used. So how did I do? Well, overall, I operated for about 22 hours across the 2 days. About 8 hours on the Saturday and a big effort on the Sunday. I had 14 hours altogether with a break in between. Talk to you more about that in a minute. But in terms of the points, just under 450,000, and you can see that most of the QSOs, look at the second column, took part on 10 metres of 328 QSOs there, which was a great deal of fun. So I really enjoyed myself. In terms of the raw scores, 448,000. That table there is just for England, G, and that was for 100 watts, unassisted, multi-band, and got placed third in England, so I was pretty pleased with that. Not bad for 100 watts. So how did we do? Well, 40 metres was a bit of a compromise, of course. The antenna is only about 2.7 metres long, that's about 9 feet. But even so, a bit of DX worked across to the US on the Sunday morning, and that was quite nice. But most of the contacts were around Europe, and many of them were useful contacts because they were multipliers. And of course, what that means is basically if you've worked these stations before on, say, 20 or 15, whatever, then if you work them again in a new band, you get a multiplier. You get multiplied, or your points get multiplied. And basically, a lot of these stations I'd worked on 20 or 15 or 10, I worked them again on 40. That was a very useful exercise, mopping them up on 40 metres. That was good fun. Let's have a look at 20 next then. So on 20 metres, you can see there a bit more DX worked, a lot across to the States on the east coast there, and down to Australia, which is a nice one, and some new countries for me anyway on 20 metres, which is very nice. So quite happy with that. 15 and down on 50, or say up on 15 and 10 is where this antenna really does begin to shine a bit. So you notice that there's a few more across the pond there. Quite a few down to South America. There was a really nice opening to South America on the Sunday evening after dark, which was nice. So I worked a shoal of those across to the Caribbean and down to Chile, Argentina, Bolivia. Bolivia might be a new country for me as well. And in fact, overall, I worked about 7 new countries doing the contest, which was very nice. And you can see there as well, earlier in the day, there was both days, in fact, there was some contacts over to Asia as well as usual, the glut you get across to Europe. And, so finally then, 10 metres. 10 metres is where the antenna starred. 10 metres was absolutely rammed from about 28.3 up to 29.2. It was absolutely rammed with SSB signals. Tons across to the States and Canada, nice and West Coast contacts there. And some over to Hong Kong, which was a new country for me as well on 10 metres. So overall, a really enjoyable experience. So I worked about across about 22 hours altogether, like I said. So you might wonder, well, how did I manage to keep my station going for 22 hours? Well, literally, what did I use? Some massive sort of leisure battery, some wonderful solar-powered system. No, I used 2 LifePo 4 batteries. Didn't need any charging, didn't need any recharge. I might have got this back, might have got this sort of backwards here, sadly, on the camera. I do apologise. This is the Ultramax battery, and this is a very lightweight battery. That lightweight, okay, 22 amp hour. This lasted me about 13 hours or 12 hours of operating, and it was not quite empty by the end of it, but yeah, you know, but even so, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, with LiFePO 4, unlike lead acid batteries, you don't have to worry too much about draining it, because unlike lead acid batteries that really suffer when they drop below sort of half capacity, these guys will take a beating, and this didn't miss a beat. The other battery, which I'll show you in a second, is my old trusted Tracer, 22 amp hour, I think it is, LiFePO 4, again, very lightweight. I've had this since 2016, has never missed a beat, and this took me over the finishing line in the afternoon and evening sessions on Sunday. So there we go. There's the two batteries I used. Nothing special. They powered the 7300 and gave me 100 watts peak output on SSB throughout the 22 hours. Didn't have to recharge the Ultramax or the Tracer at all. They both saw me home. I also have a 50 amp hour LiFePO 4 which I had on standby, which I never had to use. So there we go. So great fun. Contests aren't for everybody, I know that, but for me, I have to tell you, I had a great deal of fun. That Tarheel is a wonderful little antenna. I know we're at the peak of the sunspot cycle. I know. But for sheer convenience, and when you actually put it together with the 9-foot tank whip, which costs about 20 quid. I've waxed lyrical about that before. It's a really good system, and I really enjoyed myself. So I hope that's inspired you to go out and do a bit of HF Mobile, because you get away from all the noise and you hear so many stations, and especially on the higher bands, you have a heck of a lot of fun when conditions allow. Thanks for watching anyway. There'll be some more videos coming up soon. There's a chance for you to subscribe, and there'll be some more videos for you to watch coming up on a link shortly on the screen too. Take care, and we'll catch you again for another one. Bye for now.